Good afternoon, everyone. Please post your doubts. Let's begin with solving your doubts. And then we continue. And I think we should be in a position to finish off SA 250 today. So please post your doubts. Post your doubts on the chat box. Okay, so I think there are no doubts. So let's continue with SA 250. We are already done with question number. The last thing that we did was question number 2. Question number 2 is what we did last. The management must ensure the following. There were 5 points that we did last time. Let me quickly revise those points with you, then we go to the next question. The question was that management is responsible for the compliance with law and regulation. Right? We have 5 points which we have noted over here. The first point says proper systems ensure monitoring the legal requirement, and all the operating procedures are designed to comply with those requirements. Right? So for example, anyone who enters the factory should have these 3 things. So your operating procedure is such that you are automatically complying with the legal regulations of the safety law that you have in your organization. Next point that we saw is internal control placed are properly formulated and implemented. So you have a proper internal control which has been properly framed and you implement it on a regular basis. Third, we have a formal code of conduct to ensure compliance with all the internal control policies. Disciplinary actions taken against the employees who do not comply with it. So disciplinary action is taken against everyone who do not comply with it, and you have a formal code of conduct with you. You have competent and experienced lawyers who will ensure that you have smooth compliance with all the laws and regulations. The next point tells you that are you maintaining proper records for compliance with law and regulation as per the industry to which you belong. Are you getting it? So there we saw the example of a doctor who has to maintain a register known as the 3C register as per the law. Then at the side, you need the list of the laborers who work every day, day in, day out, and the wages that you pay to them. And a hotel, you need a register which maintains the name, purpose of visit, address, the kind of address proof that you have given. What is your purpose of visit, and when are you going back, and where are you going back? Everything needs to be mentioned. So these are all nothing but compliance with your laws and regulations. Right? Are you getting it? Okay, this is what we did last, and before that we did this question which calls itself as duties of the auditor as per 250. The first duty is to understand the environment and obtain general understanding about 3 things: legal and regulatory framework applicable to the entity, the industry or the sector to which it belongs, and how the organization is complying with the laws and regulation. After that, you have duty to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, duty to perform audit procedures, duty to remain alert, and duty to obtain representation from the management. Right? So these are all the duties of the auditor as per SA 250. Right, now we move to the next question. Look at the next question. Question number 3. I think this is also something that we've already covered. Question number 3. But let me do it once again. What shall be the effect of non-compliance on auditor's report? So if there is non-compliance with any law and regulation, the question is what will be the effect on the auditor's report? Matlab, अगर कोई नॉन कंप्लायंस होता है तो उसका इफेक्ट ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्ट में क्या होगा? व्हाट शैल बी द इफेक्ट ऑफ नॉन कंप्लायंस ऑन द ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्ट? ओके, ध्यान देना. When the auditor has sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that non-compliance exists. Okay, first point. Let's put the notes to this as well. Effect on auditor's report. I hope you all are making notes along with me. Effect on auditor's report of non-compliance with laws and regulations. Effect on auditor's report of non-compliance with law and regulations. Okay, look at the first point. Auditor has sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that non-compliance exists. So auditor has sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that non-compliance exists. What will you do in this case? Let's see. If the auditor concludes that the non-compliance has a material effect on the financial statements and has not been adequately reflected in the financial statements, the auditor shall express a qualified opinion or adverse opinion. Just make a small correction over there. It should be in accordance with SA 705, not SA 70, not SA 700. It has to be as per SA 705. So quickly make a change over there. It should be SA 705. So the auditor will give a qualified or adverse opinion. So let's put it over here. The auditor should give qualified or adverse opinion. Okay, can you tell me when will the auditor give qualified opinion? On your chat box, when will the auditor give qualified opinion? In what situation will the auditor give qualified opinion? In what situation will the auditor give qualified opinion? Everyone on your chat box. Okay, you will give qualified opinion when it is material but not pervasive. Perfect. When the effect is material but not pervasive. Perfect. When will you give an adverse opinion? On your chat box. When will you give an adverse opinion? When will you give an adverse opinion? When the effect is material and pervasive both. Okay. So when the effect is material and pervasive both. Excellent. Okay, first, if the auditor has sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that non-compliance exists, the auditor will give qualified or adverse opinion. Okay, look at the next point. When the auditor has limitation on scope of audit. Okay, everyone on your chat box. When the auditor has limitation, यहाँ पे लिख रहा हूँ, limitation on scope, what will the auditor say? Is there misstatement? Or the auditor is unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence? What will the auditor say? Unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence? Yes, we are unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead then. It says when the auditor has a limitation on scope of audit, if the auditor is precluded, underline the word precluded. Precluded means stopped. Precluded means stopped. If the auditor is precluded, precluded means stopped. If the auditor is precluded by management or those charged with governance from obtaining sufficient and appropriate audit evidence regarding non-compliance, the auditor shall express a qualified or disclaimer of opinion on the financial statements on the basis of limitation on the scope. Again, make a change over there in accordance with SA 705. So again, it is exactly the same and a very simple point. If the effect is material but not pervasive, you will give a qualified opinion. If the effect is material and pervasive both, you will give disclaimer of opinion. So in that case, you will give a disclaimer of opinion. Right. So when will you give a disclaimer of opinion? When the effect is material and pervasive both. When will you give a qualified opinion? When the effect is material but not pervasive. Okay, let's quickly revise. In fact, let me put it as a note for you. There is limitation on the scope of work of the auditor. Again, the auditor shall give a qualified or a disclaimer of opinion. So here you will have disclaimer of opinion. Are you getting it? Okay, look at the last paragraph. Further, if the auditor has identified or suspected non-compliance with law and regulation, the auditor shall determine whether the auditor has the responsibility to report the identified or suspected non-compliance to parties outside the entity. Very important point. If the auditor has identified or suspects non-compliance with law and regulation, तो आपको ये check करना है. See, I'm writing over here. Is there non-compliance or suspected non-compliance? मतलब हमको क्या नॉन कंप्लायंस है या सस्पेक्टेड, मतलब हमको लग रहा है कि नॉन कंप्लायंस है. इन दैट केस व्हाट विल यू डू? The auditor shall determine whether the auditor has the responsibility to report the identified or suspected frauds to outside parties. So we have a question: is there a need to report to outside parties? Right now, everyone pay. I'll give you a practical example for this. Right, I am sure each one of you have studied the Companies Act. Have you studied a provision which says communication of fraud to central government? On your chat box, क्या ये provision आपको law में पढ़ा है? Communication of fraud to central government. Have you been taught this provision? Yes. Okay. Can someone tell me in which chapter did you study? Which subject and chapter? Which subject and chapter did you study this? In which subject do you have this, and which chapter did you study this? Yes, audit and auditors, exactly correct. Now in law you would have studied कि अगर कोई fraud मिलता है तो central government को report करना पड़ता है. Right, ध्यान देना. In this case, the first party is the management, ध्यान देना. The second party is the client. The third party or other party in your case is central government. Now my question to you is, does law tell you to communicate fraud to central government within the time limit? Yes or no? Does law tell you to communicate to the central government on regular basis or on timely limit? Yes or no? Yes. Which means if you find any non compliance, ध्यान देना, एग्जाम्पल फ्रॉड का है लेकिन मैं नॉन कंप्लायंस से रिलेट कर रहा हूँ, ध्यान देना. If you find non compliance leads to fraud, my question to you is, will you report to central government? Yes or no? Will you report to central government? Yes. Yes, of course, it is greater than 1 crore. Then will you report? Yes, you will report. Which means if all the criteria is satisfied, if it exceeds 1 crore, then this standard 250 tells you कि आप अपना काम तो सारा करोगे, अपनी रिपोर्ट तो बनाओगे, लेकिन देखो क्या आपको कोई आउटसाइड पार्टी को रिपोर्ट करना है. तो इस हमारे एग्जाम्पल में आपको आउटसाइड पार्टी को रिपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा. क्यों? क्योंकि आउटसाइड पार्टी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है, और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को एज पर द कंपनीज एक्ट यू विल हैव टू रिपोर्ट any kind of fraud that you find over there. Are you getting it? So you will have to report in this case, which means is there a need to report to the outside parties? Yes, in our case, in the example that we took. Are you clear with this? So similarly, there are other parties. Let's take another practical example. Say for example, bank. So you conduct the audit as per the Banking Regulation Act 1949. But if you find any kind of fraud, then you have to immediately report the fraud to the RBI. Now, the management cannot tell you कि हमारे बीच की बातें किसी को मत बताना. No, you are required by a statute to report to the RBI. So you will have to report on a timely basis to the Reserve Bank of India. That is what it says कि अगर कोई नॉन कंप्लायंस मिलता है या कोई सस्पेक्टेड नॉन कंप्लायंस मिलता है तो क्या आपको आउटसाइड पार्टीज को रिपोर्ट करना है. अगर आपको लॉ कहता है कि रिपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा तो आपको रिपोर्ट करना ही पड़ेगा. राइट? यू कंडक्ट द ऑडिट ऑफ एन NBFC. If there is any non-compliance, you will have to report on timely basis. Are you getting it? Right, quickly on your chat box. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? Okay, great. If you're clear with this, let's go to the next part. Right, so this question number 3 has 3 points. Question number 3 में 3 important point है. If the auditor has sufficient appropriate audit evidence, then if the non-compliance is material, you will give qualified or adverse opinion. If there is limitation on scope, then the auditor will give qualified or disclaimer of opinion. And finally, in the last point, it says if the auditor has identified or suspected non-compliance with law or regulation, the auditor shall determine whether the auditor has a responsibility to report this to the outside parties. Right? This is about question number 3. Come to question number 4. With reference to SA 250, give examples of matters indicating to the auditor. Underline the word indicating to the auditor. Underline the word indicating to the auditor about non-compliance of law and regulations by the management. आपसे क्वेश्चन ये पूछ रहे हैं कि हमको ऐसे कोई एग्जाम्पल दो जिसको देख के आपको आइडिया आ जाएगा कि कोई ना कोई नॉन कंप्लायंस लॉ या रेगुलेशन की तरफ के साथ हुआ है मैनेजमेंट की तरफ से. अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग टू यू. क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 इज आस्किंग यू कि ऐसे कुछ एग्जाम्पल दो हमको. कौन से एग्जाम्पल? जो आपको इंडिकेट करेंगे about what? Non-compliance with law and regulation. Right? So give some examples of matters that indicate to the auditor about non-compliance with the laws and regulations. Okay, see what they have given. As per SA 250, consideration of law and regulation in an audit of financial statements, the following are examples of matters that indicate to the auditor about non-compliance with law and regulation. So let's quickly see how many points are there. 12 points are there. So let me first put it in the notes. Important question again. examples of matters Okay, let's understand this. There are 12 examples that indicate about non-compliance with law and regulation. Now, let me make a couple of things clear. First, I want to ask you, अगर मुझे कोई एग्जाम्पल मिला या इस 12 में से कोई एग्जाम्पल है, does it mean surely there is a fraud? My question to you is, does any of these 12 point means कि इस 12 में से एक है मतलब 100% fraud है? नो ऑफ कोर्स नॉट. जरूरी नहीं है कि 100% फ्रॉड है. इट विल इंडिकेट टू यू, ध्यान देना, इट विल इंडिकेट टू यू दैट देयर मे बी अ फ्रॉड, राइट. इट डज नॉट मीन श्योर देयर इज अ फ्रॉड. इट इंडिकेट्स कि शायद उसमें फ्रॉड हो सकता है. Are you getting it? It is only indicative that there can be fraud in this case. Are you understanding? तो 12 indicators है जो आपको हिंट देंगे कि देखो ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है, मतलब शायद वहां पे फ्रॉड हो सकता है. Are you getting it? Okay, let's see which are those 12 points. Look at the first one. It says investigation by regulatory organization or government department or payment of fine or penalties. Investigation by regulatory authorities regulatory organizations and government department or payment of fine or penalties. So payment of fines or penalties. Okay. Say for example आप कहीं किसी क्लाइंट के वहाँ ऑडिट कर रहे हो और आपको पता चला कि आज इनके वहाँ जीएसटी वाले आए थे. Which means जीएसटी वाले क्यों आए होंगे? डेफिनेटली इन्वेस्टिगेशन करने आए होंगे. ध्यान देना प्लीज इस बात पे. डेफिनेटली इन्वेस्टिगेशन, राइट. वो लोग डेफिनेटली या तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहे होंगे. वो लोग इन्वेस्टिगेशन कब कर रहे हैं? व्हेन दे हैव प्रूफ दैट देयर इज सम नॉन कंप्लायंस. ऐसे ही नहीं आएंगे, वो लोग पूरा होमवर्क करके आते हैं. सो दे विल कम ओनली व्हेन देयर इज नॉन कंप्लायंस. सो व्हेनेवर देयर इज इंडिकेशन, whenever they have some hint के नॉन कंप्लायंस है, तभी वो क्या करने आएंगे? जीएसटी का इन्वेस्टिगेशन करने आएंगे, जीएसटी अथॉरिटीज. व्हिच मींस देयर इज अ चांस, अंडरस्टैंड, आई एम सेइंग देयर इज अ चांस कि अगर इनके वहां रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी आई थी, इनके वहां गवर्नमेंट वाले आए थे, मतलब जरूर कोई शायद नॉन कंप्लायंस हो सकता है. हमको ठीक से चेक करना चाहिए. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? इट गिव्स यू अ हिंट कि शायद कहीं ना कहीं नॉन कंप्लायंस हो सकता है, हमको यहाँ पे चेक करना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप कहीं पे ऑडिट कर रहे हो और मान लो सडनली इनकम टैक्स ऑफिसर्स आ गए और उन्होंने वहां पे आपके वहां 3 या 4 घंटे बैठे. अब इनकम टैक्स अथॉरिटीज क्यों आएगी? रेड करने आएगी या कुछ क्वेश्चन करने आएगी या कुछ डिटेल्स मांगने आएगी. वो आपसे डिटेल्स तभी मांगेगी जब उनको शक होगा कि जरूर इस बंदे ने कुछ गलती की है, तभी वो आपके पास आएंगे, वरना वो खाली फोकट नहीं आएंगे. Which means when they are coming, they will come after doing some homework, after understanding everything about you, and after they have proper proof of non-compliance, only then they will come to you. Which means whenever there is a regulatory organization or government department, it is a strong indicator कि जरूर इस जगह पे कोई नॉन कंप्लायंस हुआ है, हमको ठीक से चेक करना चाहिए. Are you getting it? That is one part. Come to the next part. मान लीजिए आप उस कंपनी का लेजर अकाउंट चेक कर रहे हो और लेजर अकाउंट में पीएनएल में डेबिट साइड पे लिखा हुआ है पेनल्टीज. सॉरी, सपोज मान लो वहां पे लिखा हुआ है on the profit and loss account, they have debited expenses of penalties. Now, when will someone pay penalty? When you are not complying with something. So then again, that is an indicator. So what will you do when you have an indicator? You will go to the management and ask them कि सर ये किस चीज की पेनल्टी है, आपके पास रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटीज क्यों आए थे, आपके पास गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट के लोग क्यों आए थे. And when you get information, you will try and understand, is there actually a non-compliance with law and regulation, right? So whenever there is non-compliance with law and regulation, there are some indicators. The first indicator that we have studied is investigation by regulatory organizations or and government departments, और पेमेंट ऑफ फाइन्स एंड पेनल्टीज. तो कहीं पे भी आपको लेजर में ऐसा दिखे या इनकी बुक्स में से कोई पेमेंट ऑफ पेनल्टी की रिसीट निकले, मतलब जरूर इन्होंने नॉन कंप्लायंस किए तभी इनके पास पेमेंट ऑफ पेनल्टी आई, राइट? यू विल चेक दैट. आर यू गेटिंग इट? कम टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. Come to point number 2. Let's see point number 2. Payment for unspecified services. Underline the word unspecified services. Or loans to consultants, related parties, employees or government employees. Very interesting point. Point number 2. Payments for unspecified services. Loans to consultants, related parties, employees and government employees. अब ध्यान देना, मान लो मुझे किसी को ब्राइब देना हो. Everyone on your chat box, can I officially say or officially write in the books that I am giving a bribe? Can I officially write in the books that मैंने इसको रिश्वत दिया, I have given a bribe to someone? You cannot say, which means you will give some other reason for it, or it can be for unspecified services. It will be for unspecified services. Unspecified services means हो सकता है. Please understand, I am using the word हो सकता है. I am not saying होगा ही. I am saying हो सकता है कि कोई मैंने नॉन कंप्लायंस किया हो और अपने ऊपर बड़ी पेनल्टी या प्रॉब्लम अवॉइड करने के लिए मैं किसी को ब्राइब दे रहा हूँ, विच इज माई पेमेंट फॉर अनस्पेसिफाइड सर्विस. तो जब भी ऐसी कोई पेमेंट आपको मिले, immediately go and ask the management, why have you given this kind of a payment? For what have you given this kind of a payment? It will give you some kind of hint whether there is any non-compliance with law or regulation or not. Right, look at the next one, which is loan to consultants, any payment to related parties, employees or very important government employees. क्या आपने गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय को कोई पेमेंट किया है? क्या गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय को कोई पर्सनली उसके अकाउंट में पेमेंट आपने ट्रांसफर करवाया है? Which means it is an indicator of any kind of bribe, which leads to indicator that there can be any kind of non-compliance, right? तो आपने इनको कोई इनमें से किसी को भी कोई भी टाइप का पेमेंट दिया है, that will be an indicator that you may have conducted a fraud somewhere or the other. Are you understanding? So it may indicate that there is some kind of fraud in which the organization is involved. Right, look at the third point. The third point says sales commission or agent's fee that appear excessive in relation to those ordinarily paid by the entity or in its industry or to the service actually received. So excessive payments made to sales commissions or agent fees. For sales commission or agents fees. Right, now why this will happen? Say for example, if you do some kind of non-compliance or there is some rule. Let's take a very simple example. You run a pharmaceutical company. Now a pharma company needs to comply with some laws and regulations. You tell your salesperson ke out of the way jaake you break the law, take a risk, break the law, but do this for me. The salesman will say, sir, what will I get if I break the law? I am risking my life, I am risking my job, I am risking my career. Why should I break the law for you? Because if I break the law, you will be earning excess money. What will I get? Then you will tell the salesman that ordinarily I give you 10%. If you do this work for me, which is violating the law, I will give you 50%. Which means, are you paying more than the regular commission? Yes. Then there are chances कि ये जो आपने excessive commission दिया है वो आपका non compliance की वजह से हो सकता है. Now please understand, हर एक excessive payment जरूरी नहीं है non compliance ही हो, और हर एक non compliance जरूरी नहीं हो excessive payment से ही होगा. Which means it is subjective. Again I am repeating, these are indicators. ये आपको hint देंगे कि शायद कोई non compliance हुआ है. जरूरी नहीं है कि non compliance हो गए. Right, so you can give excessive payment to an agent. यार ये काम वैसे तो नॉर्मली 10,000 में होता है, पर आप मेरे लिए ये करके दो, ये थोड़ा टेढ़ा काम भी है, प्लस इसमें एक तो रूल भी हम वायलेट कर रहे हैं, तो आप जरा बात कर लो, मैं आपको इसमें 10 नहीं 30% कमीशन दूंगा. सो व्हेन यू गिव 30% कमीशन टू एन एजेंट, ऑटोमेटिकली इट इज एन इंडिकेटर कि इतना ज्यादा आपने इसको क्यों दिया है, जरूर आप कोई शायद इससे गलत काम करवा रहे हो इसलिए दिया है. Are you understanding? So these are all what? These are all indicators. This will indicate you whether there is any kind of non-compliance with the law and regulation. Right? Okay, that's your fourth point. Come to the fifth one. Purchasing at price is significantly above or below the market price. So purchasing significantly above or below market price. Right, ध्यान देना. There is, when you will come into final, you will study an act known as Competition Act 2002. तो आपको एक एक्ट पढ़ाया जाएगा जिसका नाम होगा Competition Act 2002. उसमें वो लोग लिखते हैं कि कोई भी इंसान अंडर कटिंग करके या कम प्राइस पे नहीं बेच सकता, अदरवाइज इट विल बी वायलेशन ऑफ द कॉम्पिटिशन एक्ट. कोई इंसान अपनी मोनोपोली जनरेट नहीं कर सकता और मोनोपोली का बेनिफिट लेके बहुत ज्यादा हाई रेट पे नहीं बेच सकता किसी को. These are all the provisions of the Competition Act. So if you are purchasing at a significantly higher price or a significantly lower price, both can end up violating the Competition Act 2002. And since it can end up violating the Competition Act 2002, it is again called as non-compliance with law and regulation. Right, are you understanding? These are your first 4 points. Let's quickly revise the first four points. The first indicator of non-compliance is investigation either by a regulatory organization or by government department, or if you have paid fines or penalties, then it indicates that there is some kind of non-compliance. Payment for unspecified services, loan to consultants, related parties, employees and government employees. Excessive payment made for sales commission and agents fees, and purchasing significantly above or below the market price. Are you getting it? Okay, I have one doubt. Let me take that out first. When the auditor would, management won't say that the excessive payment for the bonus. Mayur, I didn't understand your question. You have written, but when the auditor would, management won't say that the excessive payment was for bonus or employee promotion. Okay, so I think what your question is that when we pay excessive to a sales agent or an agent's fees, can the company or the management not say that it was for bonus or employee promotion? Is that your question? Yes or no? Okay, so I have understood your question correctly. Okay, please understand this. An employee is supposed to get salary plus bonus plus, if he is doing some non-compliance or if he is doing a risky thing, he will also get excess payments. अब देखो, आप अगर उसको excess payment करोगे ना, तो आपको उसको bonus तो regular pay करना ही है. तो ऑडिटर जब चेक करेगा तो उसको पता चलेगा कि यार बोनस तो साल में एक बार दिया जाता है, आपने एक तो इसको आउट ऑफ दैट टाइम बोनस क्यों दिया है, आपने इसको बोनस के टाइम के बाहर जाके बोनस क्यों दिया. यूजुअली बोनस कब देते हैं? न्यू फाइनेंशियल ईयर में बोनस दिया जाता है कि अब नया फाइनेंशियल ईयर शुरू हुआ है यहाँ से सबकी एम्प्लॉय सबका हम इंक्रीमेंट करते हैं, हर एम्प्लॉय को बोनस देते हैं, कुछ कुछ कंपनीज दिवाली पे बोनस देती है, तो एक्सेसिव पेमेंट के अलावा ये बोनस तो आपको देना ही पड़ेगा. Plus one more important thing, since Mayur you have asked this question too, I am giving you a practical example, so please pay attention to this practical example that I am giving to you. It says you have 3 employees A, B and C. B वो एरिया में काम कर रहा है जहां आपको नॉन कंप्लायंस करवाना है, ध्यान देना. और ये तीनों कौन है? ये तीनों सेल्समैन है. ये तीनों कौन है? एबीसी सेल्समैन है. नाउ आई वांट टू आस्क यू मयूर अ क्वेश्चन. अगर ए बी सी तीनों सेल्समैन है, तीनों एक ही प्रोडक्ट बेचते हैं, कैन आई से, ध्यान देना यहाँ पे, कैन आई से दैट ए बी एंड सी ऑल विल बी एलिजिबल फॉर बोनस? अगर बोनस दोगे तो सबको इकट्ठा देना पड़ेगा ना. ऐसा तो नहीं बोल सकते कि नहीं तुमको बोनस कम देंगे, आपको ज्यादा देंगे. यू कैन नॉट से दैट. एवरीवन विल हैव बोनस. नाउ द ऑडिटर विल स्टडी एंड अंडरस्टैंड कि इस केस में बी को एक्सेसिव पेमेंट दिया है और बी को जो एक्सेस पेमेंट दिया जा रहा है उसको बोनस कह रहे हैं, तो ए और सी को क्यों नहीं दिया? क्या उनका टारगेट खत्म नहीं हुआ था? क्या उनके लिए क्राइटेरिया अलग है? ऑल दीज क्वेश्चंस विल हेल्प द ऑडिटर टू रीच अ कंक्लूजन दैट this payment is not for bonus but it is for non-compliance with some law or regulation. Are you getting it? So you can say that, of course you can say that, however the auditor has always ways and means to find out whether you are not doing any kind of non-compliance or not, right? So Mayur, I hope that solves your doubt. Right, I hope that solves your doubt. Okay. Now let's come to the next one. There is one more doubt which says, as you said, if we sell at the price substantially lower than the market price, then it is the violation of the Competition Act. That is, hasn't Geo violated the act? Okay, now please understand this. I have just given you a hint of something known as Competition Act 2002. If you understand Competition Act 2002, it has a lot of rules and regulations that they have given. A lot of different provisions are there. So you cannot simply say lower price and Geo has done that, so it means violation or non-compliance with the act. It really does not mean so. You will have to read each and every provision with its entirety. You will have to read the entire provision to understand what is the implication. Is it really and actually a non-compliance or not? So if you are looking at only one thing कि Jio ने initially free of cost दिया, but you're not looking at the other provisions of the act, which, so some provisions allow you. See, there is something known as a promotional offer. अगर आप अलकापुर एरिया में जाएंगे तो they tell you buy one and get 6 free. Does it mean that if you buy one and get 6 free, does it really mean that you're violating the Competition Act? Does not mean so. It means that you are giving an offer. See, it is your material, you're giving it an offer. But it should not be so that someone is disturbing the market of the others. It should not be so. So you can give a promotional offer, you can give a trial offer. See, these are different things that you can give, right? However, the Competition Act has a lot of provisions, so you will have to take into account the act in the entirety, right? So I hope, Spruha, that solves your doubt. I have one more doubt which says how buying at lower price can lead to non-compliance. Now please understand, I think it is Raj whose doubt this is. Okay, Raj, please understand this. Say for example, you sell a product known as Maggie. I also sell a product known as Maggie. We both will buy this product from Nestle. Are you understanding? We both will buy this product from Nestle. Now Nestle should have one policy. Why? Because it is using a franchise model. Nestle is using what? A franchise model. Because Nestle is using a franchise model, it should have one policy. One policy that it will have one rate. Say for example, if it tells you that Raj, to you I will give Maggie for 5 rupees, but to everyone we will give Maggie at 20 rupees. Now you can compare 20 and 5, substantially low. If it is substantially low, one person is disturbing the FMCG market for everyone. Because it is disturbing the FMCG market for everyone, the Competition Act will come into picture. And because the Competition Act will come into picture, then it is at that time that you will have to, then you will be said to be violating a particular law. Are you getting it? So you cannot say by one thing that, okay, only this has happened, so it is violation of law. You will have to understand the law in the entirety, right? And understand one more thing, Pushti. Indirectly, Geo may have affected the market of others. I really don't know if they did or if they did not. But one thing is there, only because by giving low rates of a particular thing, you cannot say that we have disturbed the market of others. Because when you give a product out in the market at a particular rate, then of course, along with the product, a lot of parameters are also compared, right? So, say for example, if you buy makeup of a very big brand, and if you buy an ordinary makeup, now there is a difference in the price. Can you say, Pushti, my question to you is, can you say that a low range or an economy range makeup is disturbing the market of high range of makeup? Can you say that? Yes or no? You cannot say that, because you have different customer base for everyone. So the Competition Act also understands that if Geo has a particular quality of network, it has a particular speed of its 4G internet. So all these things are completely taken into account along with the other provisions of the Competition Act. Are you understanding? Okay. Raj, my answer to your question is that sometimes selling substantially at a lower price, especially the basic products, the FMCG products, can cause an imbalance in the economy. That is why the Competition Act also covers that. Right? I hope that is clear to you. Okay, I'll give you one more example. Since we have been discussing about the Competition Act since a long time, I'll give you one example. I am unable to remember the name, but please, but I'll give you an example. Wait. There was one movie. This movie was released on Diwali. I remember. And yes, I remember the name. This movie also released on Diwali. याद है आप लोग को ये दोनों मूवी एक साथ दिवाली पे रिलीज हुई थी? Does anyone remember? Both the movies released on the same day at Diwali. Does someone remember? Either say yes or no. Do you remember? Do you know the names of these two movies? कि ऐसी कोई मूवी थी? ओके, ध्यान देना, ऐसी मूवी थी दोनों. देखो मैं आपको सब लिख के डिटेल में समझाता हूँ. अगर आपको कंपटीशन एक्ट का, I'll just explain to you one small provision of the Competition Act, and because these movies were involved, I think you will be able to easily correlate. Son of Sardar, उसमें main lead role and somewhat production was taken care by Ajay Devgan. और जब तक है जान का प्रोडक्शन पूरा का पूरा रेड चिलीज ने किया था. I hope you know that Red Chillies belongs to, I hope you all understand that Red Chillies belongs to Shah Rukh Khan and his company. Okay. Now what happened was, ये दोनों मूवी एक ही टाइम पे लगी थी दिवाली पे. शाहरुख खान ने क्या किया, क्योंकि वो रेड चिलीज का प्रोडक्शन उसके पास है और मूवी उसी ने प्रोड्यूस की थी, उसने क्या किया, he went to all the multiplexes and he booked all major shows to be of his movie जब तक है जान. राइट, ध्यान देना, उसने क्या किया, वो सारे मल्टीप्लेक्सेस में गए और उसने ऐसा कहा कि आप दिन में कितने शो चलाते हो? उन्होंने बोला 100 शो चलाते। तो उसने बोला 80 मेरे शोज चलाना, मैं आपको। तो मल्टीप्लेक्सेस वालों ने बोला कि इससे हमको क्या फायदा होगा? उसने बोला एक काम करो, आप 80 शोज चलाओ। ध्यान से सुनना मेरी बात। उसने ऐसा बोला आप 80 शोज चलाओ। वैसे हम हर एक मल्टीप्लेक्स को हमारी मूवी 60 lakhs में देते हैं, हम आपको यही मूवी 60 lakhs वाली 35 lakhs में देंगे। समझना क्या होता है? अगर आप कंसेप्ट और बिजनेस मॉडल समझोगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपको सब कुछ समझ में आ जाएगा। शाहरुख खान ने क्या किया, सारे मल्टीप्लेक्सेस को ऐसा बोला कि जितने भी शो है सारे मेजर शोज मुझे दे दो, प्राइम टाइम वाले। राइट, प्राइम टाइम वाले मतलब 9 बजे का शो, 9:30 बजे का शो, सुबह 12 बजे का शो, दोपहर को शाम को 4 बजे का शो, ये सब प्राइम टाइम शोज है। 5 बजे का शो। At these shows, majority of the people want to go to the multiplex to watch a movie. So prime show उसने खुद के स्लॉट पे बुक कर दिए और उसने क्या बोला कि 60 लाख रुपीस में हम सबको चार्ज करते हैं, हम आपको 35 लाख देंगे, पर सामने आप हमको इतना हेल्प करो कि हमारी मूवी मेजरली चला। अब देखो क्या हुआ, आप मेरी बात सुनना है। आई थिंक अक्षय यू हैव आस्क्ड मी अबाउट selling price lower than cost, then it will incur a loss. I think that is something that you have asked me. That will also be answered over here. शाहरुख खान का वर्किंग मॉडल ये है कि बॉक्स ऑफिस पर जितना कलेक्शन होगा ना, वो शाहरुख खान की अर्निंग है। बॉक्स ऑफिस में जितना कलेक्शन होगा वो शाहरुख खान की अर्निंग है। ये उसका मॉडल है इस मूवी का, ऐसा मानते हैं। मतलब मैं चाहता हूं कि जितनी ज्यादा टिकट बिकेगी उतना ज्यादा मेरी रेवेन्यू होगी। सामने मुझे 35 lakhs का कॉस्ट है, वो मैं निकाल दूंगा, जो बचेगा वो मेरा प्रॉफिट है। ऐसा किसने डिसाइड किया? शाहरुख खान ने डिसाइड। अब देखो क्या होता है, he would want more and more tickets to sell. Now Diwali is a time when everyone is free, so everyone will look for movies. What will happen is, say for example, if you want to watch Son of Sardar, say for example, someone of you wants to watch a movie of Ajay Devgan. आप जाते हो, अब अजय देवगन की मूवी के पूरे दिन में है 20 शो। अब क्योंकि नंबर ऑफ शोज कम है और देखने वाले ज्यादा है, हाई चांसेस कि ज्यादा लोगों को टिकट नहीं मिलेगी। उस सिनेरियो में नेचुरली क्या होता है, क्योंकि छुट्टी का टाइम है, फेस्टिवल का टाइम है, आप ऐसा सोचोगे कि ठीक है चलो उसकी नहीं मिल रही है, शाहरुख खान वाली की मूवी की मिल रही है, वो ले ले। विच मीन्स जो शाहरुख खान की मूवी नहीं देखने वाला होगा वो भी देख लेगा। So that is how he calculated, and that is what he thought, and that is how he booked this. Immediately Ajay Devgan came to know about it when he saw that the slots available for his movie are very less, and that to Jab Tak Hai Jaan is very more, is quite more compared to his movies. Then Ajay Devgan realized this, and he claimed a complaint in and he filed a complaint in the Competition Commission of India, that is known as CCI, Competition Commission of India. तो कंपटीशन एक्ट के अंदर आपको किसी को कंप्लेन करना हो तो किसको करना होता है? कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया को कंप्लेन। उसने उनको कंप्लेन किया कि सर इक्वल और फेयर बेसिस पे काम होना चाहिए। फेयर बेसिस ये कहता है कि दोनों को या तो इक्वल मिलना चाहिए या थोड़ा बहुत आगे पीछे चलेगा, पर सर 80% शेयर हो ले जाए, 20% हमारे मूवी को रहेगा, तो फिर हम बिजनेस क्या करेंगे और हम चलाएंगे क्या? दैट इज अ कंप्लेंट दैट अजय देवगन फाइल्ड टू the Competition Commission of India, and Ajay Devgan in that case won the case, and the number of shows had to be changed accordingly. Are you getting it? Now this is also one of the provisions of the Competition Act, where say for example, if now how will you relate that with audit? Please understand, one, you understood how the Competition Commission works. Second, you understand it's not only about the price, it's about so many other manipulations that someone can do in order to affect the market by using wrong means. Akshay, your doubt is also solved. It's not that you are incurring a loss. It's just that you reduce your profit margin because you know कि जो profit margin वहां पे कम हुआ है वो यहाँ पे बढ़ जाएगा, बॉक्स ऑफिस कलेक्शन से मैं कवर कर दूंगा। अब आप एज एन ऑडिटर ये देखोगे, मान लो आप ऑडिटर हो शाहरुख खान की कंपनी के, समझना कंसेप्ट समझना, आपको इजीली पता चल जाएगा जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ। मान लीजिए आप शाहरुख खान की कंपनी के ऑडिटर हो, आपको ये पता चलता है कि दिवाली के वक्त जो मूवी रिलीज हुई थी, इनकी कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस फाइल्स में से कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया के लेटर्स निकले, और कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया को इन्होंने कितने पैसे एक्स्ट्रा दिए? 2000 रुपीज दिए, मतलब 2000 रुपीज हैज बीन पेड। अब आप सोचोगे 2000 रुपए कोई अपने मन से या चैरिटी तो नहीं करेगा, जरूर देयर इज 100% there is some kind of non-compliance. That is why this 2000 has been paid. Plus, whatever letter you will obtain from the Competition Commission of India will also include what violations you have done against the Competition Act, right? So all these points will give you a hint that there is some kind of non-compliance in the organization. Are you getting this? Right? Is this clear to you? Quickly put it on your chat box. Yes or no? Is this clear to you? Is this clear to you? Yes or no? Quickly. Is this clear to you? Okay, fine. If this is clear to you, let's proceed to the next one. Unusual payments in cash. Purchase in the form of cashier's check payable to bearer or transfers to numbered bank accounts. Okay. Next point that can indicate fraud is fifth. It says unusual payments. Right now, what is unusual payments? Understand, when you take a bill, you have GST, and when you pay a bill, you have GST. You get input tax credit of the GST that you pay. ध्यान देना, आपका कोई अनयूजुअल पे, आपने कोई मटेरियल खरीदा है ऑफ अ बिग अमाउंट और आपने उस पे जीएसटी क्लेम किया है. यूजुअली वन पेज विद चेक. If the amount is small, 100 rupees, 500, 1000, someone may pay by cash, but bigger amounts no one will pay by cash. You will usually pay by checks. So unusual payments by cash can indicate that there is some mistake that you have made. And if you remember, have you studied PGBP? Everyone on your chat box, yes or no? आपको पढ़ा है PGBP? Income tax में? Okay. Now whenever someone will teach you PGBP, they will tell you कि cash में transaction अगर करते हैं हम तो किस तरीके से it results into non-compliance, right? So you will come to know about it later when you understand the regarding the provisions of PGBP in the Income Tax Act. That is the time you'll come to know how unusual payments can result into non-compliance with some law. Okay, that's your first point. Unusual payments in cash. Purchase in the form of bearer checks or transfer to number accounts. Okay, so you purchase by bearer checks. Bearer checks means सामने वाला जो है वो कैश में विड्रॉ कर लेगा. It will not go to his bank account. Or you transfer to a number of bank accounts. You transfer to a number of bank accounts. मतलब मान लो मुझे ए को पैसे देने, तो ए कहता है मेरे में ट्रांसफर मत करो, सी डी या ई में ट्रांसफर करो. मतलब ए का पेमेंट सी को क्यों जा रहा है? जरूर हमने कुछ, we have done some non-compliance. That is why we are paying to some other person, or there is some kind of arrangement. So that the auditor will have to understand. Are you getting it? So when you have unusual payments by cash, when you pay by bearer checks, मतलब कोई सामने वाले के अकाउंट में पैसे नहीं जाएंगे, वो बैंक से विड्रॉ कर लेगा, या तो फिर you have transferred to a numbered bank accounts. In that case, you can say that there is an indication that this will be non-compliance with some law or regulation. Are you getting it? Okay, look at the 6th point. Unusual payments towards legal and retainership fees. So 6th point is unusual payments as fees or retainership, as legal fees or retainership fees. Unusual payments as legal fees or retainership fees. So say for example आपने किसी को legal fees दी है 10 लाख रुपए. अब आप किसी को ऐसे ही legal fees तो दोगे नहीं, जरूर कोई ना कोई आपका केस चल रहा होगा या कोई नॉन कंप्लायंस होगा, तभी आप legal fees दोगे. Understand the meaning of retainership fees. Please understand that. Retainership means, you say for example you have a lawyer, but that lawyer is not your employee. You call him, you call the lawyer as and when required. call the lawyer as and when required. When you call the lawyer as and when required, he is said to be on retainership with you. जब जरूरत पड़ती है तभी हम उनको बुलाते हैं. वो सारा टाइम हमारे वहाँ काम नहीं करते, वो लॉयर सारा टाइम हमारा जॉब नहीं करते, लेकिन जब भी जरूरत होती है हम उनको बुलाते हैं. मतलब वो हमारे पास किस तरीके से काम कर रहे हैं, रिटेनरशिप पे काम कर रहे हैं. और इस चीज का जब वो फीस लेते हैं, दैट इज नोन एज रिटेनरशिप फीस. मतलब आपने कोई बहुत हाई फाई लीगल फीस पे की हो, या आप किसी लॉयर को रिटेनरशिप फीस दे रहे हो, मतलब आप उसको बार बार बुला के कोई ना कोई अपना काम करवाए हो, which means there is some indication कि जरूर इसने कोई नॉन कंप्लायंस किया होगा, और उस वजह से क्या हो रहा है, इसको बार बार लॉयर को बुला के उसको पैसे देने पड़ रहे हैं. Are you getting it? So this is the indication of unusual payments as legal or retainership fee. Are you getting it? Okay, let's quickly revise these 6 points and then we proceed to the next 6. It says what are the examples of matters that indicate about non-compliance with law and regulation. So jab bhi there is non-compliance with law and regulation, there will be some hints that you will receive, some indications that you will receive. Which are those indications? The first one says that there is some investigation by regulatory organizations or government departments, or there is some kind of payment of fees and penalties. Then you have payment for unspecified services, loan to consultants, related parties, employees or government employees. A bribe can be one of them. That can give you hint that there is non-compliance. Excessive payment made to sales commission or for sales commission or as agents fees. When you purchase significantly at a higher price or a lower price, that is again giving you some indication that there is non-compliance with a particular law or regulation. Then you have the fifth point, which says unusual payments in cash, payments by bearer checks, transfer to a number of bank accounts. All these are indications. And finally, you have unusual payments made as legal fees or retainership fees. Right. So these are your indications that will tell you that there is some kind of non-compliance with the laws and regulations. Right. These are your 6 points. Let's go to the next 6 points. Look at the next one. It says unusual transactions with companies registered in tax havens. So next point, unusual transactions with companies registered as tax havens. ध्यान देना, इसका मतलब क्या होता है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज अ टैक्स हेवन. आप जब इनकम टैक्स पढ़ेंगे तो आपको सेक्शन 80IA 80IB ये सब पढ़ाएंगे. 80IA 80IB कौन से सेक्शन है? ये वो सेक्शन है जो आपको कहते हैं कि कोई कंपनी को टैक्स हॉलीडे मिला है. मतलब मान लो आपने किसी कंपनी को ऐसा कहा कि आप यहाँ पे कंपनी चालू करो, 5 साल तक हम आपसे टैक्स नहीं लेंगे. मतलब दैट कंपनी इज एंजॉयिंग टैक्स हॉलीडे. Now, when a company is enjoying tax holiday, means it does not have any liability towards tax. Such companies are also known as tax havens. They are known as what? Tax havens. अब अपन इनको क्या कहते हैं? Tax haven कहते हैं. Tax haven क्यों कहते हैं? क्योंकि इन लोग को टैक्स पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि इन्होंने कोई गवर्नमेंट की कंडीशन फुलफिल की. अब एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. मान लो A, there are two companies A and B, of which B is a tax haven company. Now A and B, say for example, are also related parties. A and B are also related. हो सकता है A बार बार B के साथ इसलिए ट्रांजैक्शन कर रहा हो क्योंकि उसको कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन छुपाने हो और टैक्स हेवन में जाने देना हो. क्योंकि टैक्स हेवन में तो टैक्स होता नहीं है. क्योंकि टैक्स नहीं होता, देयर आर हाई चांसेस कि इसको यूज करके लोग मैनिपुलेशन कर सकते हैं. तो अगर आपके पास रेगुलर ट्रांजैक्शंस हो तो मैं समझ सकता हूँ, पर constant or unusual transactions if you have with companies that are registered in tax havens, then again it can indicate to you that there is a fraud or there is some non-compliance or there is something wrong that is happening as compared to what is required by the law or the regulation. Are you getting it? So unusual transactions which are done with companies which are registered in tax havens can also give you some indication about non-compliance with any law or regulation. Are you getting it? These can be indicators of non-compliance with any kind of law or regulation. Right, look at the eighth one, which says payment of goods and services made other than to the countries from which goods or service originated. Very interesting point. It says payments. Point number 8. It says payments made to countries other than those from where the service or goods originated. For example, you buy goods from US, but you make payment to UK. Or say for example, you make payments to Germany. Now this will be indicator कि आपने कहीं से खरीदा है, कहीं और आप पेमेंट कर रहे हो, तो कुछ नॉन कंप्लायंस तो नहीं है, कुछ गलत करने की कोशिश तो नहीं कर रहे हो, कहीं आप फॉरेन एक्सचेंज मैनेजमेंट एक्ट को वायलेट तो नहीं कर रहे हो, कहीं आप आरबीआई की कोई गाइडलाइंस तो वायलेट नहीं कर रहे हो. So again, this can be some kind of indication that you have made some kind of a non-compliance with law or regulation. Okay, I have one doubt which says unusual transactions. So usually till the last year you are purchasing or selling a particular product from X company. Now suddenly you have started making those transactions from B company. Second point, आप यूजुअली बी को कोई रेंट देते नहीं थे या रेंट चार्ज नहीं करते थे क्योंकि आपका और बी का कोई रिलेशन नहीं था. अब सडनली इस साल से जब से वो कंपनी टैक्स हेवन में आई है, आप बार बार उस कंपनी को रेंट पे कर रहे हो. राइट, क्योंकि आप बार बार उस कंपनी को रेंट पे कर रहे हो, आज तक तो आप नहीं पे कर रहे थे, मतलब इट इज नॉट अ रेगुलर ट्रांजैक्शन. दीज आर एग्जांपल्स ऑफ अनयूजुअल ट्रांजैक्शंस जो लास्ट ईयर तक नहीं हो रहे थे पर इस बार हो रहे हैं. सेकेंड एग्जांपल ऑफ अनयूजुअल ट्रांजैक्शंस इज लास्ट ईयर तक 5 ही ऐसे ट्रांजैक्शन हो रहे थे, अब आपके 20 ट्रांजैक्शन ऐसे होने लगे. मतलब रेगुलरली 5 होते थे, अब सडनली 20 हो गए. मतलब दिस इज अनयूजुअल इंक्रीज इन द नंबर ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन. Right, so Dhara, I hope that solves your doubt. Unusual means suddenly the transactions have increased, or suddenly it says that you have started making transactions more frequently with a tax haven company than the other companies that you have. Right, okay. There is one more doubt which says, please again explain point number 8. Okay, I'll do that. It says that, say for example, you purchase goods from US. So of course you are supposed to make payments to US. But against that, if you make payments to Germany, then in this case, there may be an indication कि ऐसा आप क्यों कर रहे हो. कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है आपको कोई लॉ वायोलेट करना हो. राइट, अगर आपको कोई लॉ वायोलेट करना हो तो हो सकता है आप इस तरीके के अरेंजमेंट कर रहे हो. क्योंकि आप इस तरीके के अरेंजमेंट कर रहे हो और शायद आपने लॉ वायोलेट किया होगा, the auditor will keep a check on these transactions. Right, okay. A transaction with a tax haven company will give both the companies a lot of benefits. Now what happens is when you do a transaction with tax haven company, which means in 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 respect of those transactions, maybe you are also not eligible for the input tax credit if you talk about GST. In income tax also you may get some exemptions. तो ऐसा तो नहीं है आप लॉ को वायोलेट करने के लिए बार बार अननेसेसरी ट्रांजैक्शंस टैक्स हेवन कंपनीज के साथ कर रहे हो ताकि आपका टैक्स उस हिस्से उतने हिस्से का बच जाए. So when a company does a transaction with a tax haven company, then it may get a lot of benefits that it does not get usually from the other company. Now you have to ensure that these are genuine transactions. These unusual transactions should not be wrong transactions or fake transactions. Right, so Spruha, that is how you can judge that whether transactions between two companies are actually genuine transactions or they are being entered into to mislead the user of financial statement. Right, so it can mislead in this way कि हम हमारे ऊपर कोई liability थी वो हमने इनके साथ मिलके कर ली कि हमारे ऊपर तो हो सकता है गवर्नमेंट चेक रख रही हो या हो सकता है हमें चेक करती हो, पर टैक्स हेवन कंपनी को शायद वो चेक नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि उनको टैक्स लेना ही नहीं है. तो एक काम करते हैं, ये वाला ट्रांजैक्शन हम टैक्स हेवन कंपनी के साथ कर देते हैं ताकि कैसे भी करके हम ये ट्रांजैक्शन हाइड कर लें क्योंकि ये ट्रांजैक्शन तो टैक्स हेवन कंपनी में चेक नहीं होगा, हमारी कंपनी में होगा तो जरूर चेक हो जाएगा. So you can, conceal transactions by entering into a transaction with the tax haven company. Right? I hope, Spruva, that clears your doubt. Okay, perfect. Let's go to point number 9. And let's try and understand point number 9. It says payment without proper exchange control documentation. Payment without proper exchange control documentation. Now, what is exchange control documentation? Now, sometimes when you make transactions outside India, that means some or the other foreign exchange is involved. Now, whenever you make transactions in foreign exchange, it is not your regular cash transactions in Indian currency. These transactions, sometimes if they exceed a certain limit, they need prior approval of the RBI, or they need prior approval of the authorized person. Now, who is an authorized person? An authorized person is a person who is holding a license to deal in foreign exchange. जब आपके पास बैंक का या आरबीआई का प्रॉपर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है, आपके पास प्रॉपर परमिशन है, जहां परमिशन की जरूरत है वहां अगर आपके पास परमिशन है तो कोई इशू नहीं है. पर अगर आपको परमिशन की जरूरत है लेकिन आपने परमिशन ऑब्टेन नहीं की है, you are doing without permission, which means you are violating that act, you are violating that law. Which means whenever you are making payments without proper exchange control documentation, in that case it becomes it, or it may become, I'm not saying it always will become, it may become an indicator of non-compliance with law or regulation. Right, so that is your point number 10. Point number 9. Next, existence of any information system which fails, whether by design or by accident, to provide an adequate audit trail or sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Okay, which means your information system is not able to create an audit trail, or not able to generate sufficient and appropriate evidence. आपने now first you'll have to understand the meaning of the word audit trail. ध्यान देना, audit trail का मतलब क्या होता है? Audit trail का मतलब है it is a trail of the transaction. You can also call it flow of transaction from beginning to end. Okay, can you tell me on the chat box what is the first point of entry for any transaction? अगर पहली बार कोई ट्रांजैक्शन रिकॉर्ड करना होता है तो कैसे रिकॉर्ड होता है? फर्स्ट पॉइंट of recording a transaction, how does that take place? Anyone on the chat box? मान लीजिए कोई ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ, उसको रिकॉर्ड करना हो तो सबसे पहली चीज क्या रिकॉर्ड करते हैं? परफेक्ट, जर्नल एंट्रीज रिकॉर्ड करते हैं. और लास्ट चीज क्या होती है? लास्ट चीज आप जर्नल एंट्री से शुरू करते हैं, लास्ट चीज क्या होती है? फाइनल अकाउंट्स. ओके, अब ध्यान देना, आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, प्लीज पे अटेंशन. देयर इज सम एक्सपेंस, सबसे पहले क्या होना चाहिए? जर्नल एंट्री, फिर लेजर पोस्टिंग होना चाहिए. लेजर पोस्टिंग के बाद वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में जाएगा, या उसकी आप क्लोजिंग एंट्रीज पास करोगे, या तो वो पीएनएल में जाएगा या तो वो बैलेंस शीट में जाएगा. ये इसको कहते हैं ऑडिट ट्रेल. या तो पीएनएल अकाउंट में जाएगा या बैलेंस शीट में जाएगा. इसको क्या कहते हैं? ऑडिट ट्रेल. ऑडिट ट्रेल का मतलब क्या है? ट्रांजैक्शन शुरू कहां से हो रहा है और ट्रांजैक्शन खत्म कहां से हो रहा है, वो पूरा हमको लिंक मिलना चाहिए. दैट इज नोन एज ऑडिट ट्रेल. अगर आपको सिस्टम में कहीं पे भी ये ऑडिट ट्रेल नहीं मिल रहा, ट्रांजैक्शन बीच में से मिस होते जा रहे हैं, मतलब जरूर कोई फ्रॉड है, कोई आपके सिस्टम के साथ someone is altering or tampering with your system. right? That is the meaning of audit trail. It means flow of transaction from the first stage till the last stage. If there is any broken link you find in between, which should never be there, then it means that someone may be altering your system, someone may be tampering with your system. So you must ensure that that does not happen. And if that happens, it can be an indicator of non-compliance with some law or regulation. Or when you're not able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, जब आप बहुत कोशिश कर रहे हो पर सिस्टम में डेटा ही नहीं मिल रहा, आप सिस्टम में डेटा ढूंढ रहे हो, आपको मिल नहीं रहा, आप ऑडिट एविडेंस ऑब्टेन करना चाहते हो, आपको ऑडिट एविडेंस सिस्टम में मिल नहीं रहा, आपको लगता है मैनेजमेंट ने कुछ छुपा दिया है इसलिए आपको ऑडिट एविडेंस नहीं मिल रहा, all these things can be indicators that there is non-compliance with law or regulation. Are you getting it? Again, let's quickly revise from point number 6 to point number 10, which says point number 6, unusual payments as legal fees or retainership fees, unusual transactions with companies registered as tax havens, payment made to countries other than those from which the goods or service originated, payments without proper exchange control documentation, and the 10th one says the information system is not able to produce the audit trail or not able to generate sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Are you getting it? Okay, look at the 11th point. Unauthorized transactions or improperly recorded transactions. Unauthorized transactions or improperly recorded transactions. Okay, ध्यान देना. You go to a bank to conduct audit. Understand this practical example, आपको पूरा concept पता चल जाएगा. बैंक की पॉलिसी है, पॉलिसी मतलब क्या है, इंटरनल कंट्रोल, कि मान लो हमने सुमित को 50 लाख रुपीस की लोन दी है, दिस इज द लोन दैट इज बीन सैंक्शन, और इसके सामने हमने उतनी सिक्योरिटी ली है. अगर इफ ही वांट्स मोर लोन देन वी नीड द सिग्नेचर ऑफ द बैंक मैनेजर, उनके ऑथराइजेशन, which means उनके सिग्नेचर के अलावा this loan cannot be sanctioned. आप जब सुमित का बैंक अकाउंट चेक करते हो तो आपको ऐसा दिखता है, जब आप उसका सिस्टम में चेक करते हो तो ऐसा दिखता है उसको 70 लाख रुपीस की लोन मिली हुई है. आपने चेक किया 70 लाख की लोन मिली है तो उनके सैंक्शन लेटर होते हैं. क्या सैंक्शन लेटर में बैंक मैनेजर की साइन है? Has the bank manager signed? If the answer comes no, which means it is a transaction which is not properly authorized. And if a transaction is not properly authorized, which means it is an indication of non-compliance with law and regulation. Are you getting it? बैंक की पॉलिसी, अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, 50 लाख के ऊपर का ट्रांजैक्शन हो तो बैंक मैनेजर की साइन चाहिए तो ही ट्रांजैक्शन अप्रूव होगा. लेकिन यहाँ पे तो बैंक मैनेजर की साइन नहीं और ट्रांजैक्शन ऐसे ही अप्रूव हो गया, मतलब विदाउट अथॉरिटी आपके पास ट्रांजैक्शंस हुए हैं. और क्योंकि विदाउट अथॉरिटी आपके पास कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ है, इट कैन लीड टू नॉन कंप्लायंस. या कोई ट्रांजैक्शन एक पर्टिकुलर अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से यू नीड टू डिस्क्लोज और यू नीड टू रिकॉर्ड, and you have not followed that AS for disclosure, in that case you can say that this transaction is improperly recorded. Right? Are you getting it? Simple point this is. Come to the last one. The last point says adverse media comment. एडवर्स मीडिया कमेंट मींस एक आप जिस कंपनी का ऑडिट कर रहे हो उसमें बार बार न्यूज़पेपर्स में, मैगजीन्स में या न्यूज में बहुत रॉन्ग कमेंट्स आ रही है. अब इतने सारे लोग, न्यूज़पेपर वाले भी, मैगजीन वाले भी, न्यूज वाले भी, सब लोग तो एक के पीछे नहीं पड़ेंगे. जरूर कोई ना कोई शायद गलती होगी, शायद कोई नॉन कंप्लायंस होगा, तभी इतना सारा बोल रहे हैं. अगेन दैट विल बिकम an indicator of your fraud or of your non-compliance. Are you getting it? So your last point is adverse media comment. Right, let's quickly revise all the 12 points, then we take your doubt, and then I think this is sufficient for today. Which question did we do? एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन किया जिसमें 12 पॉइंट्स है. क्वेश्चन क्या है? What are the examples of matters that indicate about नॉन कंप्लायंस विद लॉ एंड रेगुलेशन? ऐसे कौन से मैटर है जो आपको ये इंडिकेट करेंगे कि शायद कोई लॉ या रेगुलेशन कंप्लाई नहीं हो रहा? फटाफट ध्यान देना. सबसे पहले इन्वेस्टिगेशन विद रेगुलेटरी organizations and government departments, or there are payment of fines and penalties, payments for unspecified services, loan to consultants, related parties, employees or government employees, excessive payments made for sales commission or agents fees, purchase at significantly higher or lower rate. We understood that entire concept with a lot of examples. Payments, unusual payments by cash, payments by purchases by bearer checks or transfer to a number of bank accounts, unusual payments as legal fees or retainership fees, unusual transactions with companies that are registered as tax havens, payments made to countries other than those from which the goods or services have originated, payment without proper exchange control documentation, the information system is not able to generate any kind of audit trail or not able to generate sufficient appropriate audit evidence, unauthorized transactions or wrongly or improperly recorded transactions, and finally you have adverse media comment. Right? Quickly, are you all clear with this? Quickly on your chat box, are you all clear with this? Quickly on your chat box, are you clear with this? Okay, I have one doubt. Let me understand that first. I have one doubt which says in Satyam fraud, bank manager was also involved. Then how we will know that there might be non-compliance? Now, what happens is when the bank manager is involved, as I've already discussed with you, when the bank manager is involved, you have to always look for uh, the documentation. That means the sanction letter that you have. Now, see, you can check, you can be careful, but you cannot force someone to give you true statements. What now? I'll tell you what happened in Satyam fraud and what you are talking about. In the Satyam fraud, the auditor was also involved in the Satyam fraud. So if you read the fraud carefully, you will come to know that the auditors were also involved, and now their licenses are also cancelled and they are undergoing punishment. So what happened was in the Satyam fraud, the bank manager was involved. The auditor knew and he did not check. That is where the auditor was wrong. If the auditor would have checked whether the bank has properly sanctioned all the loans, whether all the statements are signed or not, if they were not signed, the bank manager could have taken action. However, the bank manager did not take action because the auditor did not take action because he was also involved. So you can always come to know if the bank manager is also involved. You can have so many sources to check. So you can also check that what power the bank manager has, and most importantly, Mukaddisha, if you understand this, most importantly, you can check collateral security. मान लीजिए मैं आपको 50 लाख की लोन दे रहा हूँ, तो सामने आपकी 50 लाख की सिक्योरिटी मेरे पास गिरवी होनी चाहिए. ऐसा होगा अगर कि आपकी 50 लाख की गिरवी है लेकिन मैंने 80 लाख सैंक्शन कर दिया है, तो मेरी गलती है. राइट? सो मेनी टाइम्स द बैंक मैनेजर विल डायरेक्टली डू दैट टू अवॉइड सिक्योरिटी. वो नहीं होना चाहिए. Right? So ensure you have adequate security. So that is how the auditor will ensure whether there is non-compliance with the rules of the banking norms, which is the Banking Regulation Act. Right? I hope, Mukaddisha, that solves your doubt. Okay, I have one more doubt which says, how can payment to related parties lead to non-compliance with any law? Spruha, we have done AS 18. In AS 18, we have studied that if you do not disclose any transaction with related parties properly, then in that case it will lead to non-compliance with a law or regulation, and AS 18 is one of them. So Spruva, I hope that solves your doubt. AS 18 को अगर comply नहीं किया, which means it is a kind of non-compliance with law and regulation. I hope that is clear to you. Then I have one more doubt which says, if I want you to do an illegal act for me, and as the amount was big, I paid you through bank in order to match the passbook. So bank, can I show suspense account in my books? So if the auditor would check, I would say there was a mistake the management could not resolve. I didn't really understand your question. If you can frame the question properly and tell me, I will be able to solve that. Right, so I request you to do that. One more doubt says PwC के ऊपर ban हटा दिया था as they won the case. Now please understand, again the case was big. It's not only this one case that they won. So there were a lot of different aspects to the case that were there. One of the aspects they won, but there were a lot of other aspects that where they had to lose, and they had to lose their credibility as well. However, you have to understand that as the auditor, you will always have to be careful. You cannot be negligent. If you are negligent, it will really cause problems to you. Right? So I hope that solves all your doubt. In case if there are more doubts, please get back to me. And there is one small request. If someone of you can quickly right now send me a message on WhatsApp to me, right? I'm requesting you, please send a message to me on WhatsApp as to how many essays we have completed, right? So please send a message to me on WhatsApp on how many essays have we completed. So if someone can do that, it will be of great help to me. So I request someone of you to please send me a WhatsApp on my personal message that how many and which essays have we completed, right? So please put that on chat box. I will see that at that time. I will now see you tomorrow for AS12. Please do revise the entire standard AS12 and standard auditing 250. So do essay 250 and also do AS12. I will now see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for attending, and please ensure that you have revised all the standards. If you have any doubts, please come back to me. I will solve your doubts. Right? Thank you for attending. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.